I was prepping for the show, so I missed it.
All right. So, in other Rangers news, Lias Andersson is back in the news a little bit, and he discussed a little bit about how things kind of fell out a little bit, and it doesn't seem to be as bad as what was originally reported. But why don't you fill me in and everybody else in KD on the latest Lias Andersson news?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he was interviewed the other day as a sort of follow up on what I guess had happened, in Hartford and what the issue was that led him to, ultimately quit on the team and end up in Sweden. And, according to him now, he was taking, pills to stay up later at night so he could talk to his friends in Sweden when they woke up before they went to work. And he got into this sort of vicious cycle and he started feeling bad about his game and that kind of thing. And I get, he's saying now he's in a much better place, that he is, back in Sweden and around his friends. And I guess he had some success in the Swedish league, and which is great and good for him. But, it seems sort of strange because, when it first came out that he was having these issues and that he was quitting the team, I mean, he seemed on Paulie, unless I'm wrong. I mean, I thought he was sort of insinuating that he was being bullied, and forced to play with broken feet and these kind of things. And in this interview, it didn't seem as though I don't know if his story is changing now or his story was you know made up then, or what is going on. But while again the biggest thing here is that he's in a good spot mentally, and hopefully maybe he can come back to the Rangers. He didn't say, he left sort of that door open, which would be great. But, you sort of wonder, like, what went on there? It seems strange that, he seemed so, upset with the organization and how he was being handled to, well, it's on me and I was in a bad spot and I was homesick and I was taking pills to keep myself up and that kind of thing. I don't know. I sort of have more sort of questions than I was given answers.
Well, I thought you had a direct line to JD and Gordon. What's the story? Why can't you just call them and find out?
I call those numbers now and it says, out of service. So I don't know what happened. So I don't know if
Hey,
they
you know what
changed.
this is? This is mob stuff. This is mob stuff. Gordon and JD went over and they roughed up his family and the kid and stuff and said, "Hey, look, you're playing for the New York Rangers. You better change your tone and your attitude here, or you're not going to get your paycheck and you're not going to play with anybody else." That's all that happened here. I mean, it's interesting. Hey, look, it's anything, KD. If it's on the positive side, you think the kid's talented enough right down the road where you'd like him to possibly get another shot at getting in the lineup, right?
Yeah, I've said it all along that I like it to sort of bygones be bygones, and if they could make it work, let it work. I mean, look, they did it with Krapsov, and and he's back in the organization, and he was doing well when he came back. And look, I hope that the same sort of opportunity can be given to Anderson as well, and he could take advantage of it. Look, if it doesn't work out and maybe they have to trade him, look, that's just the way it goes. Not every prospect is going to work out and end up being a first liner on the team. So you see how it goes, and maybe he's changing things now because he knows it's going to help his trade value and he's not a problem, and he's trying to make nice with the organization so they do right by him and maybe trade him. So that could be behind what he's saying now as well. So I'd love to see him get another chance. He's a talented guy. Look, you know, me, I'm the sort of compassionate person here, unlike you, Paulie. And I like to see him. People get homesick and they make wrong decisions, and he's a young guy. And look, let's give him a second chance and see how it goes.
Hey, man, give him a chance to bump Kako out of the lineup, What the heck? Hey, man, if he just, practices his face-off, we need a guy who can win a hell of a lot of face-offs. That'll get him back on the squad. But, Kako might not be coming back down the road. You never know. I mean, how his season was going.
Man, poor kid.
Oh, man. He was just about to turn things around, and they shut the season down, man. Oh, well. Hey, look, man, all our kids, and that's the great thing. Look, it's not a great thing. It sucks that this is going on. You know, when we talk about this young team, though, they're all young, so whenever life gets back to normal, you know, the fact that our lineup is pretty young and gives, I don't know, some breathing room. I don't know. How do you look at this thing? I don't know. But how is he doing over there? Do you know? When he
Anderson, yeah, I forgot what his numbers were, but he was doing well. I mean, he was putting up points. I mean, he wasn't dominating, but he was and he's not that type of player. I mean, he's just not going to dominate. I mean, but he was putting up decent numbers. He was playing well. So again, there's talent there. The talent is there. It's just a matter of, is this guy able to, put it all together mentally, and it seems as though mentally is the issue. At least that's what you're getting from him. Coming over here, being away from family and being away from friends, and look, maybe the Rangers need to, assist with that and bring in some Swedish players that can help him along, and that would be great. But I think there is talent there. And I don't necessarily think that they should completely give up on the kid yet. And I've said that all along.
Yes, you have. You've been very supportive of him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't happy that he completely quit on the team then. But, we still don't know what happened. Just because he made these comments now doesn't necessarily mean that was the case and everything that went down. I'm sure there's more to it. But look, this is what he's saying now, and he's trying to make nice, and the Rangers trying to make nice, and he had complimentary things to say about JD and the organization. So, we'll see what happens. Again, we may not see what happens, for a while, but hopefully it works out.
Yep, Capo better get his act together. Kratzov's going to get a shot too. Anderson and Kratzov are going to be coming in, firing. So, anyway, that's funny stuff. It's good stuff, and I'm glad they're patching things up, and hopefully we'll all get to watch them play hockey again one of these days in the new world. Right, KD?
Sure. Yes.
You stop writing your Rangers report for tonight. I know that's what you're doing.
Actually, I'm keeping myself from passing out over here. Too many White Claws.
All right. Well, before I lose you, we discussed talking about last week was a lot of fun, and we gave everybody our history, our lineage of playing roller and deck hockey and a little bit of ice, and finding out that you retired very early in your hockey career. But it was good stuff. But off air last week, everybody's listening this week. Me and Kevin were talking about, possibly, bringing up Rangers road trips, and road trips are, just so popular these days. They've always kind of been that way for years. And funny enough, me and Liam were talking about this on Sticks and Taps there a week or so ago about, when the Rangers in 1950 and a couple of the Stanley Cups that they actually were in the early years, when they had to leave the Garden and they had to go play, all the Stanley Cup Finals in Detroit and Toronto and stuff, so they didn't have home games. And back then, obviously, there wasn't travel like there was today. There wasn't groups of fans that were getting together and they were going down to see them. At least in the modern day era, we've all been doing this for years now. At least let's say just 20, 30 years now, where you'd watch a game on TV and you'd just see groups of fans, and it's a big thing now. Whether it's the Canadians come down to Long Island and they'll invade the Coliseum whenever they play the Isles or whatever, or lots of fan bases come in, Flyer fans come in, Devil fans come in, obviously locally here to play the Rangers and everything else. But you'll see every now and again people will just put trips together, and it's just a great thing to do. It's a great pastime to get a bunch of your guys and gals and just head out to a city, and even when you're doing anything like that, you put a bunch of guys together, gals together, and you go and have a great time. And then you can, you see this in all the arenas and all the different games, and you see tons of people from the other fan bases or the visiting team, obviously, in the stands. So me and you were talking off the air last week about maybe talking about some road trips. And funny enough, everybody, me and KD figured out that we did the same road trip together before we knew each other. And it, obviously how old are you now, KD?
43.
You're 43, so I'm 7 years senior. I'm 50. So we were talking last week, and we found out that me and Kevin went on the same weekend trip in 1993 up to Buffalo and Toronto. And that's what we're going to talk about here at the end of this episode about, number one, just Rangers road trips and just the craziness that me and Kevin found out that we were at the same games, the same cities, the same weekend back in 1993, and we didn't even know. We probably bumped into each other at the on the beer concession stand or whatever. But funny stuff. So, Katie, why don't you set this up, or why don't you talk a little bit yourself in terms of what do you think of Ranger road trips, and then we'll get into this little story.
Sure, yeah. I mean, my friends and I obviously were big Ranger fans, and we used to try to go. And it was a while ago. I mean, in my 20s, and actually even before that, we try to go on trips every year. And our first trip that we went to was Montreal, which I can't recommend going to Montreal like enough to anyone. Paul, have you ever been up there for a game at all?
Not for a game. I've been to Montreal in and out, but no, unfortunately.
Yeah,
not.
I mean, absolutely amazing. And when we went up there, we were 19. So drinking age in Canada is 18. So we had a good time. We took a train up. We took the train out of Penn all the way up to Montreal. Just absolutely brutal train ride all the way up there. However long it took, I can't even remember how long it took to get up there. But we went up there and just absolutely lived it up there, and bars, and went to the game itself. Rangers won. Gretzky, it was back when Gretzky was on the team, and he had just an absolutely amazing game. Just so much fun being up there. And the one thing with Ranger fans, the Ranger fans travel. There's a number of fan bases that travel well, and one of those is the Rangers. Whenever you get into any of these arenas, and we did a number of them, beyond Montreal, I've been to Ottawa, Washington, Philly, went down to Tampa for a game. So, a number of places, and we're never the only ones there. There's always a large group of people there, and it's just always so much fun to go to those places. So, Montreal to me, of all of those places that I've been to, is easily the most fun. You have some of the gentleman clubs that are there, which is which is a good time. But
strip joints, you could say it, buddy.
Family show. But that's definitely a fun time. And again, if you're a little younger, you're under the age of 20, you're between that age of 18 and 21, where you can't drink legally here. You head up to Canada and you have a good time. So the fans up there have a good time with you. And we went up there again. I was 19, and you're sort of invincible when you got up there. And the Rangers won, and we went out with our Ranger jerseys on, and we were in the clubs and stuff, and mosh pitting and stuff. So it was definitely a good time. I think one of the scarier places was in Philly.
Oh,
Thankfully, my friend and I, we went in. I'm trying to remember what year we went. Goodness, I think it was 2000. I think we went in 2000. It was St. Patrick's Day weekend in 2000. So we were in Philly for St. Patrick's Day. So we had just a great time, but it was a Sunday afternoon game, Paulie. So we were spared a little bit because it was mostly families, but so we didn't get our asses kicked. Yeah, I had a couple of people, get in my face and tell me they were going to kick my ass. But I think because there were so many families around, I think a number of people sort of held back. So that was definitely the most scared I was. But another great trip that my friends and I went on was down to Tampa.